Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ungrownups video transmission. I'm your host Mark, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Aliens Corporal Dwayne Hicks action figure. You guys remembered that my last review was of the Xenomorph Warrior. They did not have this guy in my local Toys R Us. They did have Hudson, but we had talked about how I'm not a big fan of Hudson's character, Bill Paxton, and so I was really not a fan of that character, so I didn't want to pick him up, but I definitely wanted Hicks. And since I've done that review, and I shared this on Facebook, that NECA has actually announced that for Wave 2 of the Aliens series of figures, they're going to be doing a Bishop figure. They've gotten the likeness of Lance Erexon sort of nailed down or worked out legally, so he will be in the next set. And as we've said before, nobody has the license for Sigourney Weaver's likeness, so we will probably never see a Ripley figure, which is a real shame that you could do an Aliens line of figures and never do Ripley. Hopefully that'll change. That would be absolutely fantastic, but it doesn't seem that NECA has too much luck with female figures anyway, so I don't know. Who knows if we'll ever get a really good Ripley figure, but if anybody could pull it off, it definitely would be NECA. So looking at the figure here, you can see everything he comes with right out of the package. You can see, or right inside the package rather, you can see his shotgun holster that goes on his back, his sawed-off shotgun, and his plasma rifle, which is fantastic. This looks great. Now, a lot of people have complained about the fact that he doesn't come with a helmet, or neither does Hudson, and that is sort of a shame. You know, the helmets were a big part of it. Personally, I would have rather left these two items off and, really done like an extra head sculpt that had the helmet on. When these things were really shown in prototype form in the 2-up or 4-up version, each of them, both Hicks and Hudson, both came with an alternate head that was more emotional, that was more, grimacing and showed their teeth, and they're kind of angry and they're more in a shooting stance. But they didn't come with the helmet. I think helmeted versions of both Hicks and Hudson are actually going to be coming later in a 2-pack, probably a Toys R Us exclusive, but I'm not sure. It's definitely not going to be a SDCC exclusive, so that's good. It does seem to be something that we'll be able to get our hands on. NECA also has a Alien Xenomorph Warrior 2-pack already planned with a black warrior and a red warrior. Sorry about that abrupt cut. I had to put a cut in there because the battery in my camera went out. Back where we were, flipping around here on the side, you can see some pictures of Hicks in various poses, and then same little write-up that was on the back of the Xenomorph Warrior. So I'm not going to read it out to you. If you want to take the time to pause it and read it, you can. On the side, another big picture of Hicks, looking pretty tough. So let's get this guy opened up and take a closer look. Okay, so here we have Hicks opened up out of the package and completely kitted out. He's got his plasma rifle here. We go ahead and we've put the sheath, or his sort of his shotgun pouch, slung it across his shoulder. And I gotta say, this there's a lot of detail on this guy and a lot of articulation. So I'm really excited about getting this guy in some different poses. But before we look at the figure closer, before we look at the articulation, we're going to take a close-up look at each of the accessories. Okay, we're going to start off with the plasma rifle, which is a very fantastic, I just love, fantastic weapon. This thing is it's absolutely nice. I love all of the detail. As far as like futuristic guns go, the Aliens plasma rifle has always been one of my favorites. I love its very stocky design. I love its sort of like off-kilter aesthetic. I love that, it's kind of big and bulky here in the middle. I love how like the pump or the hand action actually kind of extends, all the way out to the tip of the rifle. It's just, I've always liked it. I love the very stocky clip area where the clips go in. It's just absolutely fantastic. This is all a very soft piece of plastic here. It's not an actual strap, but you can see how they've painted like the hooks. It does look like the stock is extendable, but it is not. It's got a lot of just great detail. I've always thought that the sort of the rifle that Master Chief always kind of used was very similar to this design. It's just a very For me, it's just very aesthetically pleasing, and NECA has done a fantastic job of recreating this rifle down to the weathering, and you can see there's some light silver brushwork for the weathering. Just looks great. This is a really good job. This is an absolutely fantastic weapon. Moving on to his custom sidearm is the little leather sheath that you can see that it looks woven. It looks like it was handmade. It does have a little tab that kind of fits in there and keeps that thing closed up. You can see some stitched or some sculpted detailing for the stitching on the sides all the way around, even down to painting some paint apps on the buckle, which, I mean, look, and there's tiny little like leather holes in there. That's just fantastic. Another little leather strap here on the top that's got a silver buckle. Just fantastic. It looks so good. Nice detail. You can open it all the way up and remove the shotgun, which, to me is not as well designed as the plasma rifle or pulse rifle. I'm not sure if I'm calling that right, but you can see where the tip looks like it's had electrical tape wrapped around the end where they've sawed off the stock. But it's just, your standard little sidearm. Again, I would have rather, kept these two items out and had a different head, maybe with the helmet on. But for what we're getting, it's pretty nice. And the other thing I do want to point out as an accessory is right here on the front of Hicks's armor, you can see there's this little piece of equipment here, which, if I'm not mistaken, this is the welder that they use to open the door or cut into the door. This is actually on a little strap, and you actually can remove it from his belt. It's the only piece of equipment that actually comes off of his gear, and again, this is that little welder. So you can see the blast shield there and a little hand cutter, little hand welder. So that's pretty nice that they included that. From what I understand, Hudson comes with the better equipment. He comes with the motion tracker, and it looks like at one point maybe this was intended to have like a tube that you can connect. Maybe there's something that comes with Hudson that you can interchange this with. I don't know, but it looks like maybe a little rubber tube would have fit on the end of this, but there's nothing like that on Hicks's armor. So from what I understand, Hudson does come with the better accessories and equipment, but this was a nice, neat little thing. I didn't even know it came off. I've seen some reviews of this guy, and they've never mentioned this thing coming off. So it's pretty cool that it does. So why don't we zoom back out and take a closer look at Hicks. Okay, taking a look at Hicks here. Now that we've gotten the accessories out of the way, just want to show off a little bit of the articulation. His head is on a ball joint, so you get a full range of motion. You can go 360 all the way around. It's got a really good up and down motion as well. So that'll be fantastic, because that alien, he's going to be doing a lot of looking up. The scale is perfect with these guys. Shoulder is on a pin socket. You've got 360 rotation at the top of the bicep, at the elbow, and at the wrist. The wrist also have like a back and forth motion. This side's really stiff because of paint, but this side you can see that the hinge works pretty well. So that's really good. The other really cool thing about the waist articulation here is that you can actually go all the way around, because what they've done here is all the webbing is connected to the upper part of the armor, but this big bulky pad right here is actually connected, as you can see, to the waist at the pants. Okay, I really hope that was removable. Doesn't look like it is. Looks like I'll probably have to glue that little piece back on. That looked like the detonator that they used connecting. It's either the detonator or the fuel. I'm not sure what that little piece is. I remember it being used and plugged into something in the film, but I can't remember if it was part of the flamethrower or part of a detonator. Not sure. But as you can see here at the knee, both knees are on a double hinge, which is absolutely fantastic. And you can even, as you can see, bend the tip of the boot down. So that's really cool. So there's a pin socket joint for a 360 swivel at the top of the thigh, the double joint at the knee, and then you have boot rotation at the top of the cuff, and then toe articulation at the tip of the boot, which is absolutely fantastic. So we need to get this guy re-kitted out, bring in the Xenomorph Warrior, and get this little piece glued back on that I just knocked off. So let's take a break here and do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, zooming in here on the head, and I may have said this earlier, but I really think that the head sculpt is pretty good. It's more than passable for me. I've heard several reviews, sort of, bemoaning the fact that it's not really Michael Biehn. It doesn't really look like him. I think it is him. I think it's pretty close. This is the second time that NECA has sculpted this actor. They did the they did the character he played in Terminator. So, they've made this guy before. So I think they've got a pretty good handle on how to sculpt him. To me, like I said, it's more than passable. I'm not the biggest fan of this particular expression. I think I may have wanted something a little more aggressive, but there is some intensity in the eyes, and for me, it's pretty good. I'm pleased with it. And I like it a lot better than the Hudson face sculpt, which is just Hudson. Oh my, that's a completely different topic for me. But looking at some of the detail on the armor, you can see it's got Hicks written in black right across the chest. You see he's got some grenade work, some shells for a shotgun, the knife, which is not removable. He is missing that little piece, that little connector that came off here. I have yet to glue that back on, and the welder, which fits right on the belt. Right here on the shoulder, you can see there's like a bullet hole right in his shoulder pad. You can see his U.S. Marine tattoo on his arm, which doesn't look too terribly good. Around here on the back, you can see right down there on the bottom between where the backpack would connect, it says Lifer. It's got some nice weathering effects, nice camo. It looks pretty good. Some pouches down on his belt, which maybe are those ammo clips, maybe for his rifle. And then just some really nice armor guards and knee guards for his boots. And nice little strap work. You can see how it's all individual and kind of like hangs off, which is pretty cool. Wrists, we got he's got his watch on this hand, and on this side over here we've got some taped up on the wrist, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so why don't we get this guy into some poses and see how he stacks up with the Xenomorph Warrior. I cannot wait to get these two guys standing side by side and see how they face off. Okay, so looking at these two guys together, this was one of the poses that I wish I had put the alien in the alien review. I didn't do enough poses, hardly any poses at all in that review, and I apologize for that. I was rushed for time, but this is a fantastic pose, that really makes use of all of the toe and foot articulation and the double knee joints. So as you can see, putting him in a crouching position, he's roughly the same size as Hicks is right now. So fully extended all the way up. This guy's going to be, just towering over Hicks. So I just wanted to show Hicks all kitted out. He holds his rifle very nicely, very natural pose. Looks absolutely fantastic. So we're going to show one more pose with these guys, and then we're going to get out of here. Okay, so as I said in the Xenomorph Warrior review, the alien guy is not the easiest to stand. His legs are kind of loosey-goosey. You really do have to kind of curl that tail around and use it as, an extra appendage to sort of help balance him and get him to stand up, unless you've got some sort of stand, which I have a couple of the some Japanese import stands. I really need to break those out and use them for this guy. But as you can see, Hicks has got a good tilt. He can lean back a little bit. He can aim up. He can look up. And he's definitely ready to take this guy on. So no trouble there. These guys look absolutely fantastic. And, I know that we're going to be getting Bishop in Wave 2. There's no telling who else we're going to get. Probably, NECA is going to milk the Alien line. And they're probably going to put out, tons of Xenomorph Warriors, one right after another. So I know this line's got a lot of life in it, and hopefully one day we can get that ever elusive Ripley figure. That would be absolutely fantastic, and I know that if they did get that license, NECA would do a stellar job. So that's gonna about do it for this review. If you dug it, as always, we're gonna ask, please like, comment, or subscribe, and check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/ungrownups, and be sure to download our podcast, which is new every 2 weeks, and you can find that over at iTunes, or you can stream it right off of ungrownups.com. So until next time, peace.